really what I came in here and had prepared was the ASAP Rocky finally in 8 years or
8 years.
last 8 years. Last time he dropped an album was 2018 testing. He goes and finally drops Don't Be Dumb. And leading up to this, it was like what not to do in an album rollout, because ASAP Rocky did pretty much everything that you shouldn't do. Even though we finally got the album over an 8-year period, when I first listened to it and first heard him talk about it, it still felt almost as like a half-baked idea in a way, in my opinion. And it's really, if it was there that much uncertainty in place with this album, where maybe this era of ASAP Rocky has like passed, you know what I mean? Where it's like all of the that major court case and charge that he had to deal with, the multiple kids that he had to deal with. And if this was in question at all, why not just scrap and we watched it happen with like Roddy Ricch. He just scrapped an album that he has been like teasing for like years. He like scrapped the idea and was like, this doesn't exist anymore, because it just, the rollout has been over a course of like, when's the first time we heard about Don't Be Dumb? Like he dropped that pack of music, like that Taylor Swift video in like 2022 or 2023. I mean, it's 2026 now. Like this has been something that he's been rolling out like for majority of years, and maybe scrap the idea and put the pieces out like into work. But I think that if it felt like this was a half-baked idea, or the era of Don't Be Dumb has passed because of all of the stuff that's happened in your life, why even drop it at that point? Was my first like original like feeling of this album. Where were you at with it personally?
Well, also too, sort of like the beef between, I don't know, like wasn't there like a little thing between him and Travis at one point, and then him and Drake, and it's like there was almost like so many distractions that happened from when he originally started to kind of like tease, show bits and pieces, preview this album, that it was like, maybe just hold on to this one and almost like kind of start fresh, because it almost felt like there was just way too much time between when he first brought this out and then everything that happened, and then it's like, oh wait, yep, here we go, here's the album. So I don't love that piece of it. I think that it could have been done a little bit better. I don't know, but also, are we so used to like how a good album rollout is like, are our expectations too high for album rollouts?
No,
Because
I don't think so.
You don't think? You don't?
I think that's I think that's an erroneous take, because it's either you do it or you don't. You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
ASAP is a guy
just
who
presenting
is
the
like
question.
ASAP is a guy who's very like braggadocious about how influential he is, and how much of a visionary he is, and he loves making these music visuals. He loves creating these like worlds. Like he's been talking about it in all of these interviews too, like during this rollout process. Like he takes pride in the fact of being somebody who is able, I mean, bro, he sold, how long ago did he sell the bundles for Don't Be Dumb, and people thought that they were going to have to scrap it? Like this was years in the making.
There was also like he did there was also the Puma stuff. Like he had a Puma collab, I'm pretty sure, and then he had like the Ray-Ban collab where they like brought him on as like the creative director. It almost felt like he did so many other things that he kind of like forgot to kind of put like some focus on this.
I would obviously push back heavily on that idea, because if you want to watch a good album rollout, you'll watch somebody like Travis Scott, which if you sit here and look at like what Travis Scott does collab, he has his Nike shoes. He does the collab with Nike. He's the chief visionary officer of Oakley. He's the, you know what I mean? Like he does,
but he's perfected it. He's perfected it. It's not an easy thing to do. That's the thing. It's not easy.
But you just sat here and said, are we too harsh on album rollouts? No, we're not, because ASAP Rocky has coined himself as being somebody who should be able to have this perfected. And this entire situation with this person, this particular album rollout has just been a flat L, honestly, on his end.
So I wasn't like saying it to to defend him. I was just presenting the question because I do think that there is a way to go about it where it clearly can be done. But I think Travis just makes it look so easy. I think he's really good at it.
Well, obviously, but do I think that we are too harsh on that? No, because if the artist is taking an album rollout as something that is like in like maybe like back of mind, like you said, then like why should I sit here and care about your album that you're trying to sell me on?
True. Yeah.
Because if it's not top of priority and most important to you, then it's not going to be top priority and most important to me. And I think it played out that way, even with multiple people that I've talked to, including you and Brady, who just like never even got around to listening to the album. Where it
Yeah.
was just like, how have you not listened to the album yet? You have to listen to it. It was like, well, it wasn't a priority for ASAP Rocky, so why
Yeah.
should I make it a priority for me?
There was nothing that drew me into wanting to listen to this album in a timely manner. Like typically with an album rollout, the goal should be album is out. Oh fuck, my headphones died.
Yeah, and I'll continue while he just switches over his headphones. But the album comes out, and it's almost to the
Can you hear
point
me?
where, yeah, I can hear you. The When the album comes out, it needs to be like appointment listening. Like it that at like there are times where like I will sit up until 11:59 and refresh Spotify and click play on an album, because the artist has made it a point where it's like this is
Yes.
appointment listening. It needs to be listened to immediately because there's slappers on here, and it didn't feel that way with this ASAP album.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I was getting at with an album rollout, the goal should be that you take the listener on this journey, however many months, however many weeks with the artist, and the finish line is the album being there, and you got to experience like all these cool little things along the way, and it just didn't have that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do want to go into the album where ASAP has gotten to a point where, listen, ASAP is I would almost view, and this is a big pause, but I would like almost view him as like an acquired taste, because when he speaks about like he clearly thinks very highly of himself. I mean, obviously he feels that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he's very like I don't know, like he's like an acquired taste where if you're not like used to him, like some of the shit that he says, it's just like, dude, why are you take yourself way too serious? Like, you know, like
correct.
shit like that, where it's just like he kind of comes off as douchey a little bit and not like not relatable in any way, shape, or form. And that's fine. We're not supposed to relate to ASAP Rocky, but that's just what I'm saying, how I feel. But another thing that he like loves to talk about like how artsy he is, and he really leans into the experimental side of things on this album. Like every single track, you really don't really know what you're going to be listening to next.
Yeah.
Everything's different from track to track. And for me, there are some big swings on this, and I think some even bigger misses, because there are some songs on here that might be unlistenable.
Yeah. Yeah, there are I'm I don't like this album as much as you. There are a couple songs where I'm like, okay, like I kind of like this, but there are a few songs where I'm just like, holy hell, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Really, what I think this just comes down to as a whole, I just think rap right now is corny. I think nobody likes rap right now. I don't think anybody can drop a project right now and people will universally agree that it's good. I don't know what needs to change or what needs to swing in on that pendulum to be able to have that happen. But rap is I don't think it'll ever die, but it is a dying genre at this point. It's the most unpopular it's been in a very long time. And it feels like even like the game's top tastemakers and makers of this music aren't able to capture any sort of buzz or heat, or even like with ASAP Rocky, if you think about it, I mean, that guy can't buy a hit. He hasn't had a hit since 2016. Like
I
it's been
know.
10 years. So like I think that if this album comes out at a different time period, like I do think that it gets a little bit more love. I do think it's pretty good. As much as I just sat here and kind of shit on it a little bit, I do really like it at the same time. And I saw that he's going to go on tour, and I'm personally going to go and watch it if he continues to play it out, which I want to talk to you about a little bit, because I do think I do really like this album. I'm not just saying that.
So I have two things about it. I think that as I was listening to this, there was like moments where kind of like the 2016 version of ASAP Rocky like shined through, and I was like, "Oh, this is like why I used to really love listening to him back in 2016." Was for moments like that where you would hear like the ad lib of like the really deep pitched like um
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah.
and that like sent me back to 2016 because there was a moment in 2016 where I put together a playlist that was ASAP Rocky, Drake, Frank Ocean, and I think it was Kanye West, and those were the only guys that I was listening to. And it took me, there were bits and pieces of this album that took me back to that where I was like, oh, this is cool. Um, but then there were other moments too that I also heard that similar sound, but it just didn't hit as hard as I was hoping it would. Like I think there are pieces of here that are like he does kind of get that like nostalgic sound to it a little bit, but I think there are some pieces here where it's just like I don't know if I think 2016 Noah would have liked this album a lot more closer to that time period versus 2026 Noah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I want to add too is I'm not an ASAP Rock or I'm not a Tyler the Creator fan at all. I think he's a good actor, and clearly he has a very huge following as an artist. But I think that song, I think his feature is like one of the best parts of this album. And
On the last
y-
song.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, that song's amazing. I think that song's like amazing personally.
I think I think that is one of the better songs on this album, and I think as somebody that doesn't like Tyler the Creator, me saying that one of the best songs on this album is a Tyler the Creator song is probably not a good thing for ASAP Rocky.
Interesting. I disagree. I think Tyler's great, and he's made some very good music over the year. And this is just another collection of
Oh
like
no,
another great
I
song
do
he's
not
made.
disagree with you that Tyler the Creator has made great music. That's just not my taste. He's
I mean, he was just
great.
spitting bars. He was just spitting bars in the last song. You don't like bars?
No, I like that song.
Okay. Well,
I
it's not
just
like he
said
was doing
that.
anything crazy. Like,
No, I know
I
that. I'm
do
just
want to give
saying.
ASAP credit where it sounds like you're kind of docking him a little bit, like where this doesn't sound like anything else that he's ever done before. I don't think so. There's points in time where he'll like do some stuff that like is a callback maybe,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
to be able to come out with like a completely fresh sound of something, like nobody has made an album that sounds like this, like at all. So I would have to just like give him like a nod of for like creativity at a point where it's like you've just made something that like can't be like pinpointed on like anybody else's sound at all. And I think that he did a good job of doing that. All of this is clearly one thing that he could have done is like those like packs of music. Like I think he dropped 3 or 4 songs like over the course of this rollout. None of
Yeah,
those
it was
songs are
3.
on this album. So he gave us fresh content, and he could have easily put those songs on the album. He chose not to. He clearly gave us some fresh content because some stuff that got leaked, etc. And I just think that he did a good job of doing it. I think it deserves a nod.
I will say as well that there were some. I know that you liked the "Stop Snitching" song with Boss Man D'Lo and Sauce Walka.
Mhm.
I think that song and the "Whiskey Release Me" with the Gorillas and West Side Gun, like I wanted a little bit more from those. Like when I saw West Side Gun was on this, I was like, "Oh, that's sick!" Like I like West Side Gun, and then he didn't even really do anything besides his ad libs. And
I liked both of those songs a ton.
I was just hoping for a little bit more. Like if before I listened to this and seeing West Side Gun on the Rocky album, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm excited to listen to that song. But
I
with
would
the Gorillas too, like that's a wild combination. Those three guys, Rocky, West Side Gun, and the Gorillas, like
yeah, I think that's something that he doesn't get enough credit for and won't get any credit for on this album, realistically, because people already kind of seem to have made they've I think this album will age well, personally. I just think it's good. And I think it's well put together from top to bottom. And he kind of, ASAP's good at the feature shit the same way that like Travis is good at this feature shit. And Kanye is good at this feature shit of making like an entire like motif almost of like a full song from like start to finish. And it's really good. And I like all of the features on this. The one that like the Dochi one with the robbery where they're kind of like going back and forth, like I didn't love it. Like I'm never gonna like rip that in the V and like really vibe out to
the
that
industry
shit.
plant.
But like when I listened to that song the first time and the vibe that it was going for and the sound of the beat and everything like that, like the jazzy type beat, like I like appreciated it for what it was. I think he did a really good job of putting this entire project together.
Yeah, on paper, like I think it's a great list of features on paper. Like Will I Am's on there, Gorillas and West Side Gun, like I said. Brent
I
Faiyaz. The Brent Faiyaz
you don't
song is my
think
favorite one.
But you don't think that the execution was there? Because I do.
Maybe I'm having a hard time like separating the execution from like if I like the song or not. Like I think that like I don't know if I agree that the execution is there if I don't like the song. Like should those two
But
be
like
mutually like should those
if
be
you don't
included?
like a song, that's fine. Like if you like when I listen to music, there's two things that I'm doing here. Like I'm listening to the song and it might not be something that I'll like listen to ever
Yeah.
again, but I could sit here and say like, you know what, like that's actually pretty good. And I don't think that there's anything other than shut the fuck up with fucking Slay Squad, whoever
That
that
was
is,
terrible.
on this album that like I sit here and listen to the whole thing front to back and be like, you know what, like that was really bad. Like I think everything's like pretty well done.
Maybe I just need to listen to it more because I don't necessarily have a great answer for that.
Rap's dead. Rap
For
is dead.
that.
I think this is the problem. I think really the issue with all of this is just I think rap's dead.
I don't
You guys
disagree with
don't
you
like it.
there.
You guys don't like anything. Like I'll ask everybody like if they like an out. Like I love the Playboy Cardi album. I don't know
What?
if you
Don't
did.
put
I
me in
don't
this
remember.
category. I love Playboy Cardi.
But there's a lot of people who like didn't like the Playboy Cardi album. There's a lot of people who just don't like rap in general. So I think that I'm grouping all of this in here where it's like I'm listening to it and I really like it. And then like I'm trying to talk to people who have notoriously also
Yeah.
enjoyed rap music over the last 10, 15 years that I've known them. And all of it's just like, oh, it's mid. Oh, it's not good. Like, oh, it's just like it's not bad. Like this ASAP Rocky album's not bad. Like I don't care what anyone says. Is it his best work ever? No, I'm not gonna say
No.
that, but it's not bad at all.
I I just don't know if I like ASAP Rocky anymore. That
Yeah.
could just be it. I just don't I used to love ASAP Rocky back in 2016, but like maybe the fact that he hasn't put anything out in 8 years has maybe just made me like
Do you have to like somebody to like their music?
no, no.
Like, could you sit here and
Absolutely, yes.
even if
Yes, I
you've
can.
never listened to this album ever again in your entire life, can you sit there and listen to it and be like, you know what? It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, and that's I'm not saying this is bad. I am saying that I have to listen to it more to be able to say like to be able to be like, "Oh yeah, like this is well put together." Because I don't know, I just haven't listened to it enough to be able to determine that. Like there are some songs I like. I don't think that anybody at that caliber is going to realistically put something out that is complete dog shit. Like I think ASAP Rocky has like
There are people that do.
There
to be
are,
fair.
but there are, but I think for like majority of ASAP Rocky's career, he'll get the benefit of the doubt of like, for the most part, putting together a good project. Now, whether I like it or not is a different story, but like he's going to typically put something together that people will like to listen to.
I think probably the best way to describe it, and then we can move on, is I didn't listen to this and say Rocky lost his fastball at all. I think he still has it.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. Well, I guess you just have to look. You're looking at it through like a different lens than what I would be looking at it through. Because like when I think of ASAP Rocky's fastball, I think of like Long Live ASAP and like the cozy tapes. Like the cozy tapes are probably my favorite Rocky stuff.
Okay. I actually don't really like the cozy tapes that much because I don't like the other bulls in the ASAP mob. I think they all stink.
That's
Like
that's fair.
I don't want to hear ASAP Nas on a fucking feature. I don't want to hear
Fair.
12E on a feature.
Yeah.
I just think I don't want to hear I don't even want to hear Ferg. I just think all those bulls suck. So and obviously he probably feels the same way because that original
Didn't put any
collective
of
of
them on
people
here.
are none of them are on this album at all. So he didn't even think about it. But the one thing I do want to talk about too is he announced a tour for this, which I was shocked about. I didn't think that he'd be able to do it. And some major like venues not on here in New York, no Barclays, no Madison Square Garden. Really, I'm shocked. I genuinely think in the year 2026, I genuinely think that I would be shocked if ASAP Rocky can sell out an arena tour. And I say that because I just don't think he's as popular to be able to do it and like sell it out. And I actually am going to make a prediction that this tour at some point will get canceled, whether that be like the back half legs or whatever that may be. I just don't foresee him being able to sell out an arena. I just don't think so.
Dude, there's a lot of dates on here too, and he's going international. That's a
Yeah.
lot of dates, dude. That is a
Yeah, I
lot
saw
of concerts.
I was shocked when I saw it, honestly.
See, this is almost this is giving me like Lil Baby tour vibes, where it's like Lil Baby put out a tour, like a pretty extensive list, if I remember correctly, and ended up having to like cancel a bunch of shows just because he isn't at that level that he once was. Like the 2017, 18, 19 Lil Baby was like next level, and he just hasn't been at that in the last 7 years. And I think Rocky's kind of in the same realm where it's like,
Yeah, I don't see it.
but I will say
Like,
though,
do
like
you
he
really
had,
think that he can sell an arena tour? I just there's
I
not
think
many
that's why
people
it's
who
a lot of
can.
pre-sale right
There's
now.
just really not.
I think that's
Yeah,
why like
it's
it's
all pre-sale.
pre-sale, so they figure out like, is this venue even? Are we even going to sell enough tickets to make it worth performing at this venue?
I'm not trying to be a hater. I just am shocked that he decided because I said in my review on Echo dot, if you want to follow me, my name's at Stevie. I said I said I want to see him tour this album because I think it'd be good, but I don't think that his star at this point warrants him doing an arena tour. And I think his ego's too big to take a step back and do some smaller venues. And I think that we're going to watch it play out. And obviously we can come back to this, honestly, if you want, if it ever gets canceled and we can replay this clip, but I just don't foresee him being able to sell the like. I think of like bro, like think about like when Drake did his arena, like Drake. And I'm not trying to make this a Drake
I
like
know, I
hate
know.
or like anything. Drake was struggling to sell out arena tours. Like there's
It's
not many
tough.
people who could do it. Like it's like Travis and like Taylor Swift, like and some
Bad
country
Bunny,
bulls.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bad
like
Bunny, some country bulls, yeah.
but like there's not like this isn't like a normal thing that people are able to do. So I don't know. I'd be shocked if he'd be able to sell out this arena tour.
I think that's exact. I mean, I honestly do think that's why they did the pre-sale, because I think they are going to try and get a feel for, is this even worth doing? Because if you're getting half of, like, say you're getting 50% of um, Xfinity Mobile here in Philly. That that is a gut check to the ego of somebody that was like right up there with all the other big dogs, like when he was at his peak. Like Rocky was right up there with everybody.
I just don't know. I don't know. And you don't think of like ASAP of being like this like big time like live performer the way that some of these really I'm only going to compare him to Travis Scott in this situation. I feel like that's like the most logical comparison where Travis is like known for his live performances and like like he's pretty much he might be more his live performances might be more popular than the music itself. Like how great they are. So like I don't know if he's a I don't think of them being able to do that be on that same type of level as like a Travis Scott would be.
So I'm looking at this right now. His projected first week sales were 200K, and I don't even think he's anywhere close.
Is that official?
I'm looking at this article on Hot New Hip Hop right now. ASAP Rocky was originally projected to sell 200K with Don't Be Dumb, but it appears that's no longer the case. Earlier this week, it was projected Rocky would sell 200K, Don't Be Dumb first week. The math behind this was quite simple. A press release noted that he had sold about 130K in vinyls. Physical sales translate a 1-to-1 conversion of units. This would have meant 130 guaranteed. Furthermore, 70 to 90 through streaming was also projected. Add these numbers together and you clear 200K. However, a new report from Kirko is suggesting that Rocky's first week sales are actually going to be much lower than projected. Well, only 45,000 of those 130K vinyl sales are being counted this week. As a result, the artist is projected to sell 119K total, meaning 74K are from streaming and digital platforms. So about an
Yeah,
80K difference.
yeah, that's a lot. And I'm not like
It
a
is.
we've talked about bundles a million times on this. I think it's more impressive to be able to sell a shit ton of vinyls than for people to just stream your
Especially,
music because it just means that
yeah.
people care about your shit more than anybody
Yeah,
else.
we are at a point now where like people want, and we have been for a couple years, I think, at a point where people want like the physical version of things, whether it
Yeah,
is you know this better than me with
yeah,
all of the collecting that you do.
yeah.
Um, that the physical piece of things are becoming more and more valuable, and people want
So
something
valuable.
rather than just a fucking JPEG on your computer. They want
Absolutely.
the vinyl, they want the collectibles. Like that stuff is cool again, and
Yeah,
I
and
think
to
it's
be able
great
to
that
move physical merch, to move physical copies of anything just goes to show you like how bought in your people are, how bought in your fans are, and et cetera. Like, it's just way more impressive
yes,
to
I agree.
sell something than to just have somebody stream your shit off fucking Spotify, which is literally the easiest thing to do in the world. So
Yeah,
I'm not faulting Rocky for that in any way, shape, or form. I think what we can fault him for is just going back to the rollout of this album where the pre-sales for this Don't Be Dumb album happened years ago and people had $60 tied up on vinyl for the last few years. And
yeah.
for most people, that's not fair. So like that's probably where a lot of that comes from. But yeah, I don't know. One thing that I wanted to throw out, and like I said, I don't want to make this a Drake thing, but Drake's obviously one of the biggest hitters in the game ever. And I think that he's experiencing a very similar situation to what ASAP is right now. And this ASAP Don't Be Dumb situation is reminding me a lot of like what's happening with this like Drake Iceman situation. And it almost like scares me where I just like, I almost want Drake to scrap this Iceman idea.
I don't disagree with you at all because we just sat here and criticized Rocky for like dragging his feet on this album rollout, and that's the same exact path that Drake is currently on. Now, he has made comments about the album, but that doesn't like I don't care about that. I want if you're going to roll out an album, roll out a fucking album. You already
Yeah.
started this. It's been what 2-3 episodes. Like
Yeah. And the singles have been Not strong.
I think what, like 1 for 3.
Yeah, they've not been strong. And I've tried. Who's tried more than me to like the Drake shit?
You have tried. But yeah, he's been like 1 for 3 on these, I would say, probably. And I don't know, we're just approaching this we're approaching the exact territory that Rocky's in, and I think he either needs to lock it back in and just not do the album, or you can't just keep dragging your feet, is what I'm getting at. Like, it sucks that this is what, like, that we've gotten to this point, because the album Rollout was starting, like, I was enjoying it, and I thought that it was kind of cool. But when you put what has it been, 2 months, 3 months since the last, like, Iceman episode?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's not good. It's not looking good.
Stinks. No, it stinks. Because then it forces me. We have to keep it honest across. We can't just hold Rocky to a different standard than Drake. If anything, Drake should be held to a much higher standard.
Brother, I'll
like,
keep.
I know. I know
hold
that.
to a standard.
I know. I'm talking from myself, but
yeah,
he's dragging his feet, and he needs to either shit or get off the pot.
I just spit it. Good girl, we're getting paper as a passion. Collect the stacks and bring it back, man, and take vision.